Hi, I'm Gillian and welcome to the show. I offer spiritual growth for the rebel soul, guiding you through the labyrinth of your own ascension path. This show is for the rebel souls that challenge the status quo, those that crave authenticity in every single aspect of their lives, that desire to embrace their uniqueness, follow their passions, connect to their soul and live according to who they truly are, even if that means having the courage to go against the grain or the norms of society. If that's you, my spiritual soul seeker, rebel warrior, then this is the place for you. On this podcast, we speak about everything from spirituality, sexuality, conscious relationships, business, and literally everything in between. So if that's your jam, then stay tuned. And go on, be a rebel and subscribe. You know you want to.
I'm so happy you're here because we're going to be diving into a topic that I've had so many of you guys messaging me about, voice noting about, DMing me paragraphs about, and it is, why are my psychic and spiritual gifts waking up right now? Like, why the fuck now? Like, why the dreams, the flashes, the ringing in your ears, those like intuitive hits that always turn out to be right? Like, why you are just suddenly so sensitive to everyone else's energy, why you're seeing shadows in the corner of your awareness, why you've got déjà vu, why you feel like someone is nudging you from the other side. And for a few of you that have been messaging me, and even for you guys out there, you might have this like feeling that there's just something that's urgent. Like, why does it feel like your soul is pushing you forward faster than like you feel like you're even ready for? So in this episode, I'm going to take you through the real reasons that your psychic gifts are actually activating at this time, and not just what TikTok is telling you, but the deep soul level, past life and energetic reasons that your entire intuitive channel is coming online, or you're going through a deeper awakening. Because this is a thing, maybe your channel has been online for a few years, maybe it's you're already firing on all cylinders, but you're going through a deeper initiation, a deeper awakening. So get cozy, grab yourself a tea, because your guides and your soul, your higher self, brought you to this episode for a reason. Okay. So, first things first, you are not making any of this up. The things you are seeing, the things you're feeling, the things you're sensing, these knowings that you're having, like you might feel like you're losing your mind a little bit, but this is just your gifts legitimately waking up. And the reason it probably feels so intense for you, and maybe why for some of you it just feels so fucking sudden, like it's just all of a sudden things have shifted. And it's because your soul is literally trying to get your attention. Maybe after years, definitely after lifetimes. And this is where you've been dimming yourself. You've been doubting yourself. You've been suppressing parts of yourself. And this is where you've forgotten who the fuck you are. And, a lot of people think, oh, I've gone through this like spiritual awakening or the psychic awakening. It's this beautiful butterfly moment of expansion. But honestly, for most of us, intuitives and healers, the people that are meant to be using your gifts, it's going to show up in so many different ways, like surges of emotion, surges of energy, the ringing, the whooshing in your ears, the chills, like the feeling of maybe being watched, like not in a weird, freaky, scary way, but just like someone's trying to get your attention. The vivid dreams, seeing things in your peripheral, starting to like feel other people's feelings just like they're your own. Like you've just got so much more sensitive. All of these are signs that your intuitive senses, your clairs, are literally switching on or dialing up even further. And when that starts happening, it's all for a reason. Like it's an orchestration, it's like a full initiation. Because your guides, your soul, your actual soul, and the gifts that you have mastered in many, many past lifetimes are basically like, okay, it's time. You're ready. Let's fucking go. So if you're awakening right now, or again, your gifts are just being, or your intuitive senses are just being heightened, it's not because you just are like, oh, I'm going to be psychic today. Oh, I really want to be psychic. Like, this work isn't something that you just stumble on by accident. It's not something that you decide. This work is a calling, and it was written into your soul blueprint way before you incarnated. Because you plan to wake up at this very, very specific moment in your life. And usually, from what I've experienced, from all of my clients, from the data that I've collected over the years, usually it's after a couple of things. So it's when you've survived certain karmic cycles that you are finishing playing out. For a lot of people, that can be like certain traumas, family-related stuff, even like certain relationships too. Or you've completed certain relationships, or you've completed certain lessons, like where you've actually integrated and embodied them. Because as a soul, we go through life and we sometimes repeat or have to repeat the same lessons because we haven't fully embodied what those are, and the trust to make other more aligned choices. And obviously that can all happen when you have a connection to spirit. It can also happen, when we go through these initiations, it can happen when you've like done enough healing on your journey that you can actually hold more light. Because our psychic intuitive senses is all about raising your frequency to be able to hold more light. Your gifts are energetic. So when you have done enough healing to let go of some of the density, you can connect deeper with higher dimensional wisdom, beings, all the things that you can do when your gifts start to awaken and when you start to actually work with them. Because your gifts can awaken and you can you can feel and start to see things. But actually when you don't have language for it, or you don't have the right processes or the right tools to be able to interpret, understand, and work with it for your good, for the good of yourself, then what's the point? This can happen as well when you've reached a certain period of your life, when you've reached an emotional or energetic maturity. Because again, having these gifts does come with a level of responsibility, especially if you're being guided to use them to support other people or to make this into a business. The responsibility is real, guys, because you are here supporting people in vulnerable moments, in their healing, in to give them guidance and messages for their life. There's a responsibility there, and we have to reach almost a certain echelon to be able to hold that. Or sometimes they come on when you've just hit a point in your life where you've literally been ignoring your path, and then you hit a point where ignoring that just becomes impossible. Because your psychic awakening, when all of your senses start to come online, it is literally a full-on activation. And you can have many of them. For me, my first one was probably when I was about 19, when my best friend was killed in a freak accident. And then in 2012, after an ending of a karmic relationship. Then I had another level of awakening where my gifts got stronger and stronger in 2020. After, funnily enough, another relationship ending. But this time was actually where I learned and integrated the lessons that my relationships had been showing me. This is where I actually shifted something massively. And then, also that time in 2020, it was almost like a double ender for me, because I'd been ignoring stepping into my path, as in doing it for work, for so long. And I knew at that point that I had to close my recruitment company somehow. Even though it was a 7-figure business, I knew that was really the point, even though I'd known for years, but that was the point where it's okay, I know that I've got to do this and I've got to actually start stepping into this. And Spirit was okay, girl, fucking enough now. You know you're meant to do this work. You've known this for years. So we're going to make you so uncomfortable that you actually make the move. Because a lot of us stay, we know we're meant to do something with this, but we stay what we class as in a safe place. and we don't actually step into it. And we're not here to do that. We're awakening for a reason. Our gifts are coming on for a reason. We develop our gifts for a reason. Like, Spirit was like, and my soul, to be honest, not just my guides, my soul was like, okay, I'm going to give you no choice, and I'm going to dissolve every single thing that you once thought was safe. We're going to dismantle this business. We're going to make you so unhappy. Things are going to go awry in the business because you're not meant to stay where you are. And in that business that I built for 7.5 years, it was like, okay, it's served its purpose now. You're meant to build a new legacy from this place of alignment, guided by Spirit, guided by your gifts, where you're here to share your gifts and talents with the world, instead of a place of survival where, yes, you were sharing other gifts and talents with the world, but it was from a very, very different energy. So just think of these moments where your gifts start to come online. Your, Spirit starts to nudge you, and, all of those signs become stronger. It's kind of like this time capsule release, this time release capsule even, because your intuition has always been there. You are born with intuitive gifts. Your psychic senses have always been there. Your connection to Spirit has always been there. But it just wasn't time. But then something shifts. And for a lot of people, like what happened to me, a breakup. That was for my big shifts when it came to my spiritual journey and me deepening and awakening more and more. Breakups were a common denominator for me. So for some people, and one of my really good friends, it's through a serious health scare. I mean, tell me something else that's going to show you where you need to really reassess your whole entire life than like a serious health scare. For some people, it's burnout. That was kind of also me too, right, with my business. For some people, it's like a big move, which again, also was me. I moved from London to Australia to start my recruitment company in 2014. Fast forward to 2021, 22 is where I left all of that to step into building my spiritual business. Huge leap into the unknown. Big moves, right? For some people, they have a kind of a spiritual experience. They have a dark night of the soul, losing someone, which again, I did, right? My best friend, I lost them. Or hitting just some point of rock bottom. For a lot of people, it's like losing a job, losing a home, losing a relationship. All of these things can contribute to a whole crack open, and your soul is basically at that point going, okay, you've been cracked open to this point, and it's time to remember who you are. That's why so many people experience like a psychic activation, a spiritual awakening, if you will, after something big like this. Because again, your ego cracks and your soul can finally, it has this space to speak. Because this is the thing, right? We are in this society, we are so manufactured into trusting logic and intellect over intuition, over creativity, over even knowing that we have a fucking relationship with Spirit. For most of us, we are so detached and numb to our senses that it takes something that breaks us the fuck down to literally break us open. And that's what happens. It's like, when they say like something cracks, right? And then the light can shine in. It's kind of that analogy. Okay, so I now want to talk about past lives, because I promise you, if you've been listening to this podcast, then this is definitely not your first rodeo, because you have been a healer, you have been a seer, you've been a mystic, priest, a priestess, a medium, an oracle, a medicine woman, a channel, a spiritual teacher, whatever title you want to give yourself. You have been in this realm many, many, many times before. You've trained in these gifts. You've used these gifts. You've actually mastered so many of these gifts that you're being attracted to, let's say, learn or develop now or remember across so many different incarnations. And when your soul actually decides that it's time to bring those gifts back online, you start to remember things. Like, you start to remember things that you didn't like learn in this timeline. It's like you just start reading people, like all of a sudden you just start knowing things without any context. You start seeing energy, you start, maybe working with energy or moving energy, you start getting random messages. And that's because none of this is new to you. Like, none of this work is actually new to you. You're just remembering it now. Because again, your soul holds all of this mastery that you have in you, right? All your memories, your talents, your experiences, they're all held in your energy field. They're all held in your unconscious. So when you awaken, again, that crack opens and it's like your energy expands, and all of those roles that you played in past lives start to come up. They start to seep through. The light starts to come in to your conscious awareness. So that's why, like, maybe you started to have like weird dreams or déjà vu, or being drawn to certain types of healing or spiritual modalities. Maybe you're seeing past lives in your dreams, or you're just having like random visions of like another timeline or another era. Maybe you've been drawn to like travel to a certain place. One of my clients, something just came. I was channeling a past life for her, and she was like, this is crazy. She was like, I was just in Greece and I was doing like a tour, and everything you said about being a seer and an oracle, that's what they did, and they revered people there. And she was like, I stepped into this kind of place that they were doing a tour around, and she said, I just got the shivers down my whole spine and was like, oh my God, I knew I've been here. I knew that I was this. And she's like, you've just validated every single thing that I felt in that moment. And that was only a few months ago. So these are the signs that your body, that soul, spirit is telling you that you have lived these lifetimes. And, when your gifts start to come online again, this is where the timeline that you're on right now, it starts to merge with your actual soul mission. And your gifts are waking up because your soul is literally trying to like almost reclaim everything that it's ever known. That's why in the work that I do, past lives is such a key component to remembering your psychic abilities, your psychic gifts, the roles that you've played, what your soul mission is, because it's almost like, think of like your oversoul, right? And it's like, it's trying to build up all of this mastery of these different gifts, of these different roles that you've lived in different lifetimes, because it's here to like bring them all back and remember them, so you can also be a master of all of these things in this lifetime. But here's a bigger part of the puzzle, because you're waking up at this very moment in time, because also the collective is waking up. The energy on the planet right now is just shifting so much. The consciousness is rising. And I mean, like, it really has to, because we need to step out of the fucking dark ages and remember who we are. Remember that we are all spiritual. We are all soul. We all came here without fear, without ego, without distortions that this planet has created for a lot of us. When we come into this world, we are just pure unconditional love, right? Babies are just pure unconditional love. It's just life that then fucking sucks that out of you. So this is why more and more people are starting to wake up. They're starting to remember who they are, and they're being guided to step into their mission. Even if they don't know what that mission is, their purpose starts with them opening up their psychic and intuitive gifts, period. That is what's going to lead them to their mission. And when the energy of the collective starts to awaken, the intuitive ones, people like you're feeling it first. Because you are the ones with the actual contracts, like you have soul contracts that you've agreed to almost like stabilize the frequency on this planet, like at a bigger scale. So your gifts are all coming online now because you are meant to lead, you're meant to guide, you're meant to heal people, you're meant to ground the people that are waking up after you. So just think of it like this, okay? The earth itself, the energetic frequency of the earth is upgrading. And your soul upgrades with it because you live on the earth, right? It's basically like a computer program and a system, basically. And because you are so spiritually attuned, your system starts to pick up on any of these little shifts faster than other people. So that's why you're more sensitive, you're more emotional, you're more awake than other people around you. You know, you can't tolerate like low frequency environments or people or toxicity anymore, whatever that is for you. Relationships, alcohol, drugs, the whole thing. And this is why you're drawn to develop your abilities, go deeper into understanding who you are, deeper into personal development, you know, your spiritual learning, your healing abilities, all of the things that you're being drawn to right now is because your mission is turning on. And then let's talk about spirit for a moment, because one of the biggest reasons your gifts are waking up is because your guides are trying to actually communicate with you more actively. So when you go through these big transitions, these big healing chapters, these big alignment shifts in your life, then your gifts actually, your guides actually step closer. And when your guides step closer, your intuitive senses turn on because you are so interconnected with them energetically, and your energy system, your auric field, literally senses them. So if you've been feeling like the presence of beings or guides, if you've had any kind of like messages or nudges, you keep seeing angel numbers, if you've been getting goosebumps, if you've been getting like random thoughts, if you've been getting ideas dropping out of nowhere, if you've been getting dreams that feel like super real and you've woken up just going, oh my God, did I just have like some kind of like insane message come through there? Some like meaningful, deep message? That's your spirit team. And they're basically saying, hello, my friend. They're like, okay, so we need you to hear us more clearly. So it's time to wake up those subtle senses. Because your guides are communicating through your clair senses, right? Your psychic senses, your clairvoyance. So this is colors, symbols, visions. Your clairaudience, this is through sounds like ringing, whooshing, words like music. Your clairsentience, this is where they communicate through your feelings, your emotions, through physical sensations. Your claircognizance, where they're communicating through your inner knowing, like you just get something dropped in, you're just like, don't know how I knew that, but I know that this is the case. I know that this is true. And when you're ready for the next chapter of your mission, this is when these senses start to turn on like fast AF. So if you've noticed any of these shifts in your senses, then like this is why, because they're heightening, they're turning on. They have to heighten to, and you have to learn how to tune into the frequency of your guides, because your guides operate at a different frequency than you do. So this is why you have to do the healing work. This is why you have to raise your frequency. This is why you have to learn the language of spirit, because it's like you're trying to tune into a certain radio frequency, a certain radio station, and you have to get it right, because otherwise it's just static, right? Otherwise you're like getting ring in my ears, but I don't know what that means. But when you actually learn to tune to the right channels, you get the clear messages. And the reality of all of this is that your gifts are waking up right now, or you're being called to develop them further because you are actually needed. And you might be like, what do you mean I'm needed? What do you mean I'm needed? Or maybe deep down you've always knew that you were kind of meant for more, or like the life that you're living is not what feels meaningful for you or fulfilling for you, or you just knew you were meant for something different. It's because you are. Because you came here with a mission. Not a small one, but a really important soul purpose. And that purpose, it needs your intuition. It needs your intuition to lead it in a way that is spirit aligned, soul aligned, not ego driven, not ego aligned, but through spirit, through soul. Because that's how you remember what the fuck you're here for. It requires your sensitivity. It needs your ability to hear, to feel, to see, to sense, to channel energy, to channel guidance for those that you're contracted to help. Because you're waking up now because you are meant to help people. You're meant to guide people, heal people, channel for people. You're meant to teach. You're meant to shift timelines. You're meant to break ancestral patterns. You're meant to change your lineage. You're meant to be like a lighthouse in the world that has been numb for so long. And honestly, it's just trying to feel again. You're meant to use your intuition. Maybe you're here to create a product. Maybe you're here to create a service. Maybe you're here to create a book or a TV show, or like you're here to create something. And you can only do that by being led by spirit, by trusting your intuition, by trusting those nudges, by learning to channel and receiving full information on anything that you need. And you're waking up now because the world needs more people like you. Needs more people that can hold these higher frequencies. Like that's your initiation. So, if you've been asking yourself, why is this happening to me? Why now? Why all at once? Why so intensely? What the fuck is happening? Help. It's because it's literally just because you're ready. I mean, you might not feel ready, but you're ready. It's because your soul chose this very moment. It's because your past life gifts are coming back. It's because your guides are calling you forward to start actually working with them, to learn how to channel their wisdom, their guidance, their healing, contracts, codes, frequencies that are meant just for you, so that you can create the thing that's meant for you. Because the collective is shifting. Your mission is literally like activating. It's like the timer's just gone off and it's like dee, 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 dee. And yes, you did choose this, believe it or not. All this stuff that's been happening, you did choose this. Because you kind of signed up to be part of the crew that is supporting and bridging worlds between earth and spirit. That's why I call you guys the rebel souls, because we are the souls that are rebels, that are going against the norm, that are stepping out of the status quo, that are questioning everything. And, moving into these spheres that for a lot of people are taboo. But for you, you're just remembering what is actually true. So everything that's waking up in you, like right now, is really here to lead you to that next chapter of who you actually came here to be. Not this version that you've been living, not this version that you're believing, like that's who you are, whatever that is, the corporate girly, the wife, the good girl, the whatever your identity is, in inverted commas. It's not that. It's so much more. And if this episode resonated, then I'd love for you to comment below. Like, I love hearing what lands for you in each of these episodes. And if you want to go deeper, if you want to learn how to actually develop not only your psychic gifts, your unique psychic gifts, your unique blueprint, but also your mediumship abilities to speak to passed on loved ones, to bring through healing messages, to bring through guidance, to channel and meet your spirit guides, higher dimensional beings. Learn to do advanced types of readings from past, present, future, soul contracts, Akashic records, angelic readings, spirit baby readings. Again, you're going to be called into a certain niche or a certain area. You're going to have the opportunity to learn all of that. And if you're feeling the call, then join me inside the Rebel Psychic School. This is literally where you remember and master what you came here to do. And all the details are going to be below in the show notes. But if you have any questions, then just send me a DM. Just send me a DM on Instagram. And I'm so happy to chat to you there. Answer any questions you have. You can set up a call if you feel like you want to chat and understand a little bit more about the program or what that looks like. And it's not even a program. I don't even know why I said it's a program. It is, but it's not. It's a whole initiation. You get access to all of the teachings, all of the modules for lifetime. You get lifetime access. But then you also get 9 months of coaching, of personalization, of support with me. It's an initiation. It's a whole mystery school that you are not going to be the same person when you start to when you end. You're going to be able to take this work and build something with it. Shift your life. And that's what we're here for. So, my love, I'm gonna leave you with that. Until next time, I am sending you so much love from me, from your team in spirit, from all the beautiful, amazing past life fucking powerhouses that you were and still am.